Hey guys, so last week it was my birthday, hence why my hair's finally been cut and dyed and all the rest of it and doesn't look like I'm cutting it. But for my birthday I got quite a few comics and a few Marvel things as well and a couple of books, and I wanted to show them to you because I got actually a hell of a lot of books and a hell of a lot of comic books, and it is also the superhero-a-thon, so I wanted to show you a couple of the pop vinyls and things that I also got for my birthday. So without further ado, I'm just going to get into it. I'm going to start with the pop vinyls because there's less of those, and first of all I got a tiny little Loki to go with the rest of my little pop vinyl-y things, but he's adorable. And he's in his little green costume as well, instead of his blue one from Thor Ragnarok. But I absolutely love him, and I think he's absolutely adorable. And he now takes pride of place next to T'Challa with Stephen and Tony and Bruce as well, because I thought he'd fit quite well there. I then also got a little Logan Dorbs as well, because I just think he's really cute, and he's got tiny little claws and everything, and I just thought that he was absolutely adorable. I have absolutely no X-Men pop vinyls or anything, unless you count Scarlet Witch and the little Magneto I have there. Apart from that, I don't have any X-Men, and after Logan went last year, I just kind of wanted a little model of him to sort of keep things going. So I've also got a little Logan. I've also got this Hulk as well, which matches that Hulk down there, but that is a stress ball, and this is actually a Dorbs figure, and this is actually a very, very special one because it glows in the dark. I can't actually show you that right now because even though it's dark and rainy outside, I can't actually show you because it's not actually dark enough. But he glows in the dark, which is epic. I also got Nebula as well, which is really, really cool because I have a Gamora and a Groot. She unfortunately does not fit on that shelf, so she's had to go all the way up there. But she is adorable and I really, really love her. I then also got these three Sum-Sums, so I got Ghost Rider, Spider-Man and Captain America because all of them were on offer and they were down from $3.99 down to $1.99, and I basically just had to have them because I've already got a couple. I've got Stephen Strange and Natasha, so I thought I'd get another three to keep him a bit more company. I'm now going to go on to the comics because this is the superhero-a-thon, so I should probably talk about Marvel comics and superheroes and stuff before I go into the books. And the comic books I bought for myself were Black Panther, A Nation Under Our Feet, The Unbelievable Gwenpool, and the all-new Wolverine, The Four Sisters. I got Black Panther because it's Black Panther. I'd seen Black Panther that day for the 4th time. I love Black Panther. I don't own any Black Panther comics, so I thought this would be a good place to start, and also this was the only one on offer. There was a few others, but they didn't sound as appealing to me as this one did. But as for these two, I got these two, A, because X-23 is someone I'm very, very much interested in because of Logan, like I said, and I absolutely love X-23 of what I've seen of her in the film version, but I don't know that much about her comic counterpart. So I thought this would be a good one to start with. Also because I know a bit about this one because of, as you can see, Stephen Strange is on the back. He makes an appearance in this comic, so I thought this would be a good place to start because obviously I know a tiny bit about X-23, but I know a lot about Doctor Strange. And I can't resist a Doctor Strange comic, to be honest. So I thought this would be a good sort of mix of finding out more about Doctor Strange as a character and what he does, but also finding out more about Laura Kinney, aka X-23. And then for Gwenpool, I had quite similar reasons for it because this is the one where Gwenpool ends up in the Marvel Universe and has to meet Stephen Strange, and he helps her a bit, and they also see into her universe and see that there is a film being made of him and things like this, and that is a comic that I've been really, really interested in reading ever since I saw those panels, and I found this and had to have it essentially. Also, I know absolutely nothing about Gwenpool, but I have been very much interested in finding out more about her, and this one I think goes a bit into her origin, so I can't wait to read this one. The rest of the comics that I have are ones that my mum bought me from that charity shop she bought the last set from. And there are so many I'm scared, quite frankly, so I'm just going to start. I've got Wolverine Goes to Hell. I don't know anything about this. I think this is another one to do with him going to Japan, I think. Maybe. All I know is that Wolverine's been possessed in this one, if I remember rightly, which sounded really, really interesting. And I think actual Wolverine is stuck in hell, so that is something I'm very, very much interested in and cannot wait to explore. I also got Universe X, and this one is part 3? Second half. This is the second half of the Universe X storyline. I don't actually have the first one because this is the only one they had, but it's a very interesting idea. It's set after Captain America dies, and it's after Civil War, and there's also a quote on the back from Joss Whedon, and I'm a big fan of his writing, so essentially this was a must-have. I also got Ghost Rider Resurrected, and I have not owned any Ghost Rider comics at all, but I'm a big fan of the Ghost Rider. I have been ever since I was a kid. I love the films, which is probably quite controversial, but I absolutely loved the films when I was a kid. Well, I loved the first one, I didn't love the second one, but I loved the first one, and I loved him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. last year and things, but I've never actually read any of his comics, but I think he's a really, really cool character, and so I went for this one. I also got Wolverine, Enemy of the State as well. Again, I know nothing about this, but on the back you can see the Fantastic Four are there, along with Nick Fury maybe, and Elektra and a few others, and obviously I know all of those characters. I want to explore more of Wolverine, so I went for this one as well. I've also got Captain America Reborn, and this is actually part of a massive series, and this is like a huge overarching storyline, which I own nothing of in the lead up to this one. So I've definitely got to put off reading this one until I get those others. I have no idea when I'll get those others, because these are not exactly rare, but it's quite hard to find them, and I've also got very little in way of funds at the moment, so it may have to wait a while. I also got the Avengers 3, Blade versus the Avengers, and quite frankly, I am a massive fan of Blade. I have loved Blade for years. Again, I loved the films when I was a kid. I probably should not have watched those films as a kid, but I did. I absolutely love Blade. Again, I've not read any of his comics at all. I just know his basic origins, and that's about it. So I thought this would be a good one to start with, or at least go for, because you've also got Hawkeye, War Machine, Nerd Hulk, New Black Widow, and the Red Wasp, and Nick Fury in this as well, and vampires and Blade. So what's not to love about that? Even though I don't know who New Black Widow or Nerd Hulk or Red Wasp are, which means I've got to do some research before I read this, but either way, I'm very, very excited for it. Also, I got this one, which is the Avengers The Serpent Crown, and can I just say how much I love the shiny green cover? I love the shiny green of the cover, let alone the character roster on the front and the back. I am very looking forward to this one. I think this one is actually the first part of a series. I think, I'm not exactly sure on that, do not quote me on that, but I think I can start reading this one as soon as I want to, which is great, and I think this one has come very well reviewed, so I'm definitely going to go for this one. I also got Nick Fury versus S.H.I.E.L.D. This one actually came for free because Mum bought so many other comics that they just gave this one to us for free, and I'm not sure about this one at the moment because one, Nick Fury is white, which is not what I'm used to, and also I think this is actually part of a big overarching series or something, again, that I don't have, but I'm quite interested to read it, see how it turns out. I've also got Secret War, and I've heard about this one, and I love the characters on the front cover of this, so this will be quite interesting. I haven't read anything where Daredevil teams up with anybody, so this will be quite interesting. And this is also the darkest chapter in Marvel Universe history, and I like dark things, so I'm quite interested to see how this goes. I think I can read this straight off the bat. I can't remember, quite frankly. The list is so long of books I've got to buy just to read some of these, I get lost. I also got X-Men Onslaught, which obviously has Wolverine on the front of it, but it's also got Spider-Man on the back, and it just says it continues here, so this is going to be fun because I haven't read the rest of the series, but we picked it up anyway because they were there and I may as well have, and so I picked this one up as well. I also got Ultimate X Origins, and again, I know nothing. It just says that the X-Men are no more, which I'm quite interested in. Again, I don't recognise any of the characters on the front there, so this is again going to be an experience because obviously there are so many X-Men. So it'll be interesting to see more X-Men that I haven't actually explored yet. This one really interested me because it's Iron Man, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I know nothing about. I know nothing about Tony being the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a very interesting concept, especially after seeing all the set photos of the next two Avengers films. I won't actually say what's on them in case anybody is avoiding spoilers, but I thought this would be very, very interesting. This is actually like the second or third part in a series, so I'm going to have to get the other parts in the series before I even dare pick this one up, but I thought I'd pick it up now in case I never find it again. I also got the Young Avengers Family Matters. This is actually volume 2 in another series, so I'm going to have to try and find the first one. I originally thought this was a different set of Young Avengers, but it isn't, so I'm actually quite interested in finding out exactly what this is all about and everything. I know nothing about the Young Avengers. All I know about this one is that Jessica Jones turns up, and while I don't particularly like her comic counterpart in the comics that I have read, I'm still very interested in Jessica Jones' adventures and obviously the Young Avengers in case they make that into a film. I've got so many books here and I've been holding up so many that my back's starting to hurt and so is my hand, and I've still got several to go. Anyway, I've also got X23 Innocence Lost because my mum obviously knows I love X23 and I'm very, very fascinated by her. This is actually the first in a series, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And this is the full story behind the origin of X23, which I am very much interested in, actually, to compare it to the film and just to see what it's all about, to be honest. And to be honest, I just want to know more about X23, and where a better place to start than her origins. I've also got X-Men Phoenix End Song. Again, I know nothing about this, but with Dark Phoenix coming out eventually, hopefully, and stuff, I wanted to know where her comic book origins come from. Obviously, I know a bit about her from the films, but let's be honest, can we really trust Fox X-Men to be accurate? Probably not. So I thought this would be a good place to also have a look about Jean and Phoenix and stuff. This is actually the first in the series as well, which is great, so I can actually just jump straight into this one. And finally, on the comics, I've got this baby, the Omnibus of Planet Hulk. I have been looking for this for ages. I'm really interested in the Planet Hulk. I'm really interested in the Hulk. I knew that from Thor Ragnarok they were taking bits of the Planet Hulk storyline and putting it into Ragnarok, and this is obviously the full omnibus edition of the entire Planet Hulk storyline. It is, quite frankly, massive, which intimidates me, but I'm so excited to read this one. You have no idea how excited I am to read this one because it's Planet Hulk, it's Hulk solo. I've never read anything to do with the Hulk that's been solo or at all, really. So I'm very excited to read this one. This is actually probably my favourite one of the haul. I cannot wait to get started with it. And that is actually all of the comics I got. And now onto the books, which I'm thankful that there's less of, because my hands actually hurt. I hate being dyspraxic, but my hands actually physically hurt from holding these up. So there's only a few more left to go, so I'm just going to get straight into it. First thing I got was Children of Blood and Bone, because I've wanted this ever since it came out, ever since I heard about it, and I've heard that if you really like Black Panther, you're really going to like this. So hopefully I'm going to really like this. And I also got the Waterstones exclusive like red edged pages as well, which is fantastic because I love sprayed edges and I was so glad to get some. I also got The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet because I've really gotten into sci-fi books recently, especially after reading Failure to Communicate, and this one has been obviously very highly recommended. It sounded a bit like Failure to Communicate or something along those lines, and I was very interested in it, so I picked this one up as well. I also got The Beast Player as well, which I had heard nothing about. Well, I'd heard of the story, but this is actually sort of like a Japanese translation, I think. It's something like that. It's sort of like a Japanese fairy tale translation retelling thing. I'm not particularly sure. To be honest, I took a chance with this one because I hadn't heard that much about it, whereas everything else I had thoroughly checked out and put on a list to look for when I was out shopping. So this one I took a risk on, but all of the Goodreads like reviews are saying that it's really good, so I decided to give it a go. I also got Mortal Engines. Now this one would have flown completely right by me if it wasn't for the fact that the film was coming out at the end of the year, and I saw the trailer and it's basically like huge cities on wheels like swallowing up smaller cities and things, which sounded really interesting, to be honest, and I hadn't heard that much about it until then, and basically the storyline has just really intrigued me, and I'm probably not going to read this until closer to the time when the film actually comes out, but I am very excited to read it, and I thought I'd pick it up right now while it was still in stores, and it had a quite pretty cover on it with the shiny at the top and the shiny sticker. So I thought I'd pick it up now, so I had it ready. And then I also got To Kill a Kingdom, which is another new release, which I have obviously heard a lot about. I will probably be reading this for my superhero TBR if I get to it. And to be honest, I heard that this is basically sort of like a villain origin story and things, and I'm very, very much into villains. And this is also a Little Mermaid retelling, I think. I feel like this is a Little Mermaid retelling. I could be wrong, but it's an evil Little Mermaid telling, or it's about mermaids and sea creatures and evil and things like this, and princes and princesses, so I thought I'd give it a go, and it really, really intrigued me, so I picked it up. I bit the bullet, guys, and I bought Throne of Glass, and don't kill me, but I'm going to put my hands up here and say I've never read anything by Sarah J. Maas. I have never read anything by her, but everyone keeps on talking about the Throne of Glass series and her other series, and I've never picked anything up by her. I've never read anything by her, so I decided to pick up Throne of Glass and just bite the bullet. I don't know when I'll get to this one, but I will get to it eventually, and hopefully I'll like it as much as the rest of the internet. I mean, it's about fae and assassins, and I love assassins. I don't know that much about fae books. I haven't read that many, so this will be a bit of an experiment, but I'm really looking forward to it. And then finally, my favourite. I got the complete box set of the first 9 books in the Skullduggery Pleasant series, because I have only got the first 4 here, and now I've got all of them. Ha! I'm so excited, and if you look at the back, I love the back. I love the sides as well. I love the edges of these covers. I love these parts of the covers. I'm not so keen on the front covers of them. I prefer the covers I've got, but I will deal with it just so I can read this entire series. I've been putting off reading my versions of the books originally because I didn't want to run out and I didn't want to have to mix and match covers, but now I've got the full series in a matching cover and I can buy the other ones that are in the same covers, so I'm really, really happy and just praying that they don't do another reshuffle of the covers. And that is it. That is all of the books. I'm scared to count them, but I'm going to because now I'm just really curious how many I've got. 33. There's 33 books and comic books here. Whoops. I mean, that's a really good haul for a birthday, to be honest, but I don't have time to read all of this. I didn't realise there was 33 of them. I wasn't expecting to get 33 of them. I was expecting like 12. Whoops. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with this haul. I cannot wait to get stuck into it. I've got plans for a few of them to read them quite soon, hopefully. And I'll probably dip in and out of the Marvel comics, because I've also got to buy 39 other of these comics just so I can read like everything I've got here. So I'm kind of screwed, to be honest, and my shelf is going to cry. But I'm really, really happy with all of this haul. I cannot wait to get stuck into half of these, or most of these, or just get round to reading them. I don't know when I'm going to get round to reading them, but I cannot wait to. But that's going to be it for this book haul, because now I'm rambling, and quite frankly, there are no more books to haul. I'm not going to haul books for at least a couple of months. Hopefully. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below if you've read any of these books and tell me which ones I should prioritise, because at the moment I have no idea which ones to prioritise. But if you want to see any more of my videos, well, we'll probably be talking about more book hauls or Marvel things, or just talking about the books that I have read when I read them. Please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time, guys, bye!